A wave of dramatic headlines claimed that Meghan Markle had suffered an embarrassing moment on the 2026 BET Awards red carpet, some insisting she was ignored by A-list celebrities, others alleging she left in humiliation, and still others going even further by suggesting she had been forced out altogether. Within hours, short video clips, screenshots, and social media posts had spread across multiple platforms, turning a single celebrity appearance into one of the day's most debated entertainment stories. But as the online conversation accelerated, one important question quickly emerged: how much of what people were sharing could actually be confirmed? If you enjoy breaking down the biggest celebrity stories with a focus on separating verified reporting from viral rumors, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest entertainment documentaries. The controversy surrounding the reported incident illustrates how quickly public perception can form in the digital age. A few seconds of video, viewed without broader context, can generate thousands of comments and inspire entirely different interpretations. Some viewers believed they were witnessing an uncomfortable social snub. Others argued the footage showed nothing unusual at all, pointing out that red carpets are fast-moving environments where celebrities, photographers, security personnel, and event staff are all competing for space and attention. The BET Awards have long been one of the entertainment industry's highest-profile celebrations, bringing together musicians, actors, athletes, comedians, producers, and other influential figures. Every arrival is carefully documented by photographers, entertainment reporters, live streams, and fans posting in real time. That intense level of coverage means even routine interactions can become headline news when viewed through the lens of an already polarized public discussion. Meghan Markle has remained one of the most closely watched public figures in entertainment and popular culture. Whether appearing at charity events, speaking publicly, or attending high-profile gatherings, her appearances often generate significant media coverage and equally significant debate online. Supporters and critics frequently interpret the same moments in very different ways, creating competing narratives that can spread long before comprehensive reporting is available. That dynamic played a major role in the reaction to the BET Awards. As clips circulated, some online commentators claimed they showed celebrities avoiding Meghan or declining to interact with her. Others asserted that she appeared isolated on the red carpet before leaving abruptly. However, many of those claims originated on social media rather than from official event organizers or established reporting, making it important to distinguish between documented events, personal interpretations, and unverified allegations. Adding to the confusion was the speed at which content spread. Individual clips were reposted, cropped, slowed down, and accompanied by captions that often reflected the opinions of the person sharing them rather than independently verified facts. By the time entertainment outlets began examining the footage more carefully, millions of viewers had already encountered one version of the story or another. As frequently happens with viral celebrity news, the online narrative began evolving faster than the available evidence. This documentary is not an attempt to confirm sensational claims or dismiss legitimate questions. Instead, it aims to reconstruct the sequence of events using verified reporting, where available, identify which parts of the story are supported by evidence, and clearly separate those from speculation that gain traction online. Understanding how the controversy developed requires looking beyond isolated clips and examining the broader timeline. Another factor worth considering is the environment in which celebrity news now unfolds. Entertainment stories are no longer driven exclusively by television broadcasts or magazine reports. Independent creators, reaction channels, live streams, and countless social media accounts now contribute to shaping public opinion in real time. That expanded media landscape creates more perspectives, but it also increases the likelihood that incomplete information will circulate before facts can be fully established. Throughout this documentary, we'll follow the events chronologically. We'll begin with the anticipation leading up to the BET Awards, examine what is known about the reported red carpet appearance, explore how the claims of exclusion and embarrassment spread across the internet, and compare those claims with the evidence that became available. Along the way, we'll distinguish confirmed reporting from allegations and opinions, so that each development is viewed in its proper context. To understand how this story became one of the evening's biggest talking points, we first need to go back to the hours before the ceremony, when expectations surrounding the event, and the celebrities expected to attend, were already building. The hours leading up to the 2026 BET Awards were filled with the kind of speculation that has become routine before any major entertainment event. Long before the first guests stepped onto the red carpet, entertainment reporters, fan accounts, and social media creators were already discussing who might attend, which celebrity reunions could happen, and what moments were most likely to dominate headlines the following day. As with many awards shows, organizers did not publicly confirm every attendee in advance. Instead, much of the pre-event conversation was driven by industry expectations, previous appearances, invitations reported by entertainment outlets, and online speculation. That uncertainty created an environment where even unverified reports could quickly gain traction. Meghan Markle's name became part of those discussions because her public appearances routinely attract significant media attention. Regardless of the setting, photographs and brief video clips featuring her often become subjects of extensive analysis. Supporters view her appearances as opportunities to highlight her work and public profile, while critics frequently scrutinize her interactions, body language, and public reception. That existing level of attention meant that if Meghan were to appear at a high-profile entertainment event, cameras would almost certainly follow her closely. It also meant that nearly every visible moment could be interpreted in multiple ways once those images reached social media. Meanwhile, the BET Awards themselves represented much more than a celebrity gathering. The event has traditionally celebrated achievements across music, film, television, sports, and culture, drawing an audience that extends well beyond those attending in person. Red carpet coverage begins well before the televised ceremony, with photographers capturing arrivals from multiple angles, while reporters conduct rapid interviews and production teams work within carefully managed schedules. Because of those logistics, the atmosphere on any awards show carpet is often far more hectic than edited highlight reels suggest. Celebrities arrive according to production timelines, stop briefly at designated media positions, move between photographers, conduct interviews with selected outlets, and continue toward the venue. Security personnel and event coordinators frequently redirect movement to keep arrivals on schedule. Understanding that environment is important because isolated clips rarely show everything happening outside the camera's frame. A few seconds of footage may capture only one angle of a much longer sequence, making it difficult to draw firm conclusions without additional context. As anticipation continued building online, entertainment pages began publishing prediction pieces about the evening's biggest fashion moments, surprise appearances, and possible celebrity encounters. Those stories were typical of awards show coverage and reflected the public's appetite for real-time entertainment news. At the same time, discussions surrounding Meghan remained unusually active across social platforms. Some users expressed excitement at the possibility of seeing her at another major public event. Others questioned how she might be received, often referencing previous media coverage or ongoing public debates. Importantly, many of these conversations reflected opinion rather than reporting, illustrating how expectations can shape the way later events are interpreted. This growing anticipation also encouraged dozens of independent content creators to prepare live coverage. Some planned reaction streams, while others monitored celebrity arrivals frame by frame, ready to publish commentary within minutes. The speed of modern online reporting means that initial impressions often spread before longer recordings or additional viewpoints become available. That dynamic would prove significant later in the evening. Another feature of today's entertainment landscape is the competition for attention. Short clips, dramatic captions, and emotionally charged headlines tend to attract more engagement than measured explanations. As a result, creators sometimes emphasize uncertainty or conflict when describing unfolding events, even when the available evidence remains limited. Responsible reporting, by contrast, requires distinguishing between what cameras clearly show and what viewers may infer. By the time the first arrivals began reaching the venue, the conditions for a rapidly developing online story were already in place. Large audiences were watching live streams, entertainment journalists were publishing updates in real time, photographers were distributing images almost instantly, and social media users were ready to analyze every visible interaction. At that stage, however, there was still no controversy. The evening was unfolding like many other major awards shows, with attention focused primarily on celebrity fashion, arrivals, and the celebration itself. That would begin to change only after reports emerged that Meghan had arrived, or was about to appear, prompting cameras and online commentators alike to focus intensely on the next sequence of events. The claim that Meghan Markle had been rejected by A-listers did not begin as a confirmed report from event organisers or an official statement from anyone directly involved. It appeared to grow out of online interpretation, where short clips from the red carpet were reposted, with captions suggesting that celebrities nearby had deliberately avoided interacting with her. At first, those claims circulated mainly through social media posts and reaction-style commentary. Some users pointed to crowded red carpet footage and argued that certain celebrities appeared to move past without stopping. Others highlighted moments where Meghan was allegedly standing apart from larger celebrity clusters. But the difficulty was that these videos rarely showed the full sequence before and after the moment being discussed. That gap allowed interpretation to fill the space where evidence was missing. In a crowded awards show environment, people constantly move in different directions for reasons that may have nothing to do with personal feelings. Publicists guide guests toward assigned outlets. Photographers request certain poses. Security keeps the walkway open. Celebrities may be late for interviews, performances, seating calls, or backstage obligations. Without verified context, a brief moment of someone walking past another person cannot prove intentional rejection. Still, the wording of the posts mattered. The phrase, kicked out of A-listers, suggested something more dramatic than awkward timing or limited interaction. It implied social exclusion, embarrassment, and an organized rejection by elite attendees. Once that framing appeared online, later reposts often repeated it as though it had already been established. From there, the story took on a life of its own. Screenshots were pulled from videos. Short clips were cropped even tighter. Some posts used arrows, captions, or slow-motion edits to direct viewers toward a specific interpretation. Instead of watching a red carpet as a busy event space, audiences were encouraged to view each movement as evidence of a larger social drama. Supporters of Meghan pushed back quickly. They argued that critics were using incomplete footage to create a humiliation narrative without proof. They also noted that public figures are often judged harshly from split-second images that may not reflect the larger reality of an event. To them, the controversy showed how easily online communities can turn ordinary red carpet movement into a personal attack. Critics, however, interpreted the same clips differently. They claimed the footage fit a broader pattern of public discomfort around Meghan's celebrity status and social positioning. Some framed the alleged lack of interaction as evidence that Hollywood elites were distancing themselves from her. But again, these arguments depended heavily on interpretation, not verified confirmation. Established entertainment outlets were more cautious. Where the story was mentioned, the language generally focused on what was being claimed online rather than presenting the claim as fact. That distinction matters because a viral allegation can be widely discussed without being proven. A claim spreading across platforms is not the same thing as independent confirmation. The controversy also revealed how selective framing can reshape a public event. If a clip is posted with the caption, "awkward red carpet moment," viewers may look for awkwardness. If the same clip is posted as "celebrity ignored," viewers may interpret ordinary movement as intentional avoidance. The caption becomes a lens before the audience has even examined the footage. That is especially true with figures who already provoke strong public reaction. Meghan's public image has been heavily debated for years, and many viewers bring pre-existing opinions to any new appearance. Supporters may see unfair treatment. Critics may see confirmation of previous doubts. Neutral viewers may struggle to separate the event itself from the emotional framing around it. As the allegations spread, the story began shifting away from what could be seen on the red carpet and toward what people believed the footage meant. The central focus was no longer simply whether Meghan attended or how long she remained visible. It became whether the event revealed a deeper change in how other celebrities viewed her. That shift raised the stakes of the entire discussion. A routine awards show appearance was now being framed as a public test of status, acceptance, and influence. The red carpet was no longer just a place for photos. Online, it had become a stage where every movement was treated as symbolic. But while the A-lister rejection claim dominated social media, a second allegation soon pushed the controversy even further. New posts began claiming that Meghan had not merely experienced an awkward moment, but had left the red carpet early. And that raised a more serious question. Was her departure unusual, or was it simply part of the event's normal schedule? By the time claims that Meghan Markle had been rejected by A-listers had spread across social media, attention quickly shifted to another allegation that carried even greater weight. Instead of focusing on who did, or did not, interact with her, online discussion began asking whether she had left the Bet Awards red carpet unexpectedly. In many posts, that allegation was presented as proof that something had gone seriously wrong. As before, separating what could be confirmed from what was merely being claimed became essential. Several videos circulating online appeared to show Meghan moving away from the red carpet area. Some users interpreted those clips as evidence that she had abruptly exited after an uncomfortable experience. Others described the footage as showing nothing more than a guest continuing through the event according to schedule. The challenge was that none of the widely shared clips on their own documented the complete sequence from arrival to departure. Awards show red carpets are highly structured environments. Guests typically enter through designated access points, stop for photographs, conduct selected interviews, and then proceed toward the venue itself. Not every attendee spends the same amount of time in front of cameras. Some complete the media circuit in only a few minutes, while others remain considerably longer depending on their commitments, interview schedule, or event responsibilities. That routine movement complicated attempts to draw firm conclusions from isolated videos. As entertainment reporters reviewed the developing controversy, one issue remained consistent. There was no widely verified report from event organizers stating that Meghan had been asked to leave the red carpet. Likewise, there was no official announcement indicating she had been removed from the event or denied access because of any incident. Despite that, more dramatic versions of the story continued spreading online, often without citing first-hand sources. Some digital creators attempted to reconstruct the timeline by combining clips recorded from different positions along the carpet. Their efforts highlighted just how difficult that task can be. Videos captured by fans, photographers, and media outlets rarely begin and end at the same moment. Camera angles overlap only partially, and significant portions of the event frequently occur outside public view. That left room for competing interpretations. Supporters argued that claims of humiliation were built largely on assumptions rather than documented evidence. They pointed out that celebrity departures from red carpets are common and rarely receive attention, unless the individual involved is already at the center of intense public discussion. From that perspective, the controversy reflected existing opinions about Meghan more than it reflected anything visible in the available footage. Critics reached a different conclusion. Some suggested that the reported departure, combined with earlier clips circulating online, supported the idea that the evening had not unfolded as expected. Yet even many commentators who questioned the appearance acknowledged that definitive conclusions could not be reached without a complete and independently verified timeline. Established entertainment coverage generally remained more restrained than much of the social media discussion. Where the controversy was addressed, reporting often focused on the fact that the allegations themselves had gone viral rather than confirming the allegations as factual events. That distinction is significant because widespread discussion does not automatically establish that the underlying claim is accurate. Another factor worth considering is how quickly public perception can become fixed. Once a narrative gains momentum online, later information often struggles to receive the same level of attention. Initial impressions, especially when accompanied by dramatic captions or emotionally charged commentary, can continue shaping opinions even if additional context later becomes available. By this point, the conversation had grown well beyond the red carpet itself. Instead of debating only what happened during a few minutes outside the venue, commentators were asking broader questions about Meghan's current standing within celebrity culture. Some viewed the reported incident as symbolic of changing public attitudes. Others argued it illustrated how readily ordinary moments become amplified when they involve polarizing public figures. Regardless of which interpretation audiences found more persuasive, one outcome was undeniable. The story had evolved from a routine awards show appearance into a much larger debate about media framing, celebrity perception, and the influence of viral content. That shift marked an important turning point. The focus was no longer limited to the mechanics of the red carpet or the accuracy of individual clips. Instead, attention increasingly centered on why this particular appearance had generated such an intense reaction compared with countless other celebrity arrivals that passed with little discussion. Answering that question requires looking beyond the footage itself and examining the broader environment in which stories like this now spread. A media landscape where existing public opinion, algorithm-driven engagement, and rapidly shared commentary can transform a few seconds of video into an international entertainment controversy almost overnight. By this stage, the discussion surrounding Meghan Markle's reported appearance had become much larger than the event itself. What began as a handful of short videos had evolved into a broader conversation about celebrity reputation, online influence, and how quickly public opinion can solidify before all the facts are available. One reason the story gained such momentum was that it did not emerge in isolation. Meghan has remained one of the most discussed public figures in entertainment and royal-related news for years. As a result, many viewers approached the Bet Awards with existing opinions already firmly in place. Those prior beliefs often influenced how new footage was interpreted. For supporters, the controversy demonstrated how easily ordinary public appearances can become the subject of unfair criticism. They argued that isolated clips were being stripped of context and presented in ways that encouraged viewers to assume the worst. From their perspective, the rapid spread of dramatic headlines illustrated the challenges faced by high-profile public figures whose every movement is recorded and analyzed. Critics viewed the same controversy through a different lens. Some believed the online reaction reflected broader changes in public sentiment toward Meghan and interpreted the reported awkward moments as consistent with that view. However, these remained interpretations rather than independently verified conclusions, underscoring the difference between public opinion and documented fact. The speed of modern social media played a central role in amplifying those competing narratives. Platforms reward content that generates strong emotional reactions, encouraging rapid sharing before complete information is available. Videos lasting only a few seconds can accumulate millions of views in a matter of hours, particularly when accompanied by captions suggesting conflict, embarrassment, or controversy. Once a particular narrative begins attracting attention, algorithms often reinforce it by recommending similar content to users who have already engaged with related posts. This can create an echo chamber in which viewers encounter repeated versions of the same claim, even when those claims originate from the same limited source material. Entertainment analysts have increasingly noted that this pattern is not unique to Meghan. Numerous celebrities have experienced situations in which ordinary public interactions were interpreted in dramatically different ways online. Red carpets, sporting events, concerts, and public appearances frequently produce short clips that become detached from their original context as they circulate across different platforms. Another factor contributing to the intensity of this debate was the language used in many viral headlines. Words such as humiliated, rejected, snubbed, or kicked out carry strong emotional weight. Even when those descriptions are not supported by verified reporting, they can shape audience expectations before viewers have an opportunity to examine the available footage for themselves. This phenomenon highlights an important distinction between reporting and commentary. Reporting focuses on documenting what can be confirmed through reliable sources, eyewitness accounts, official statements, or verified video evidence. Commentary, by contrast, often involves interpretation, opinion, or speculation about what events might mean. During fast-moving celebrity stories, those two forms of content can become difficult for audiences to distinguish. As the Bet Awards controversy continued circulating, traditional entertainment outlets generally remained more measured than many independent online accounts. Rather than confirming sensational allegations, they largely reported on the existence of the viral debate itself, while emphasizing the limited nature of the available evidence. That approach reflected the challenges journalists face when social media narratives develop faster than independently verifiable information. Meanwhile, online engagement continued driving the story forward. Reaction videos, live stream discussions, and commentary channels devoted hours of coverage to analyzing the same collection of clips from different perspectives. Each new interpretation introduced additional viewers to the controversy, extending its reach well beyond those who had originally watched the awards coverage. The result was that the reported red carpet moment became less about the event itself and more about what it represented to different audiences. For some, it symbolized changing attitudes toward Meghan. For others, it illustrated the dangers of drawing sweeping conclusions from incomplete evidence. In either case, the discussion had clearly expanded beyond the footage that initially sparked it. As public interest continued growing, attention naturally turned toward the people most directly connected to the story. Viewers wanted to know whether Meghan or her representatives would respond, whether event organizers would clarify what had occurred, and whether additional verified information would emerge to settle the competing narratives. Those questions would shape the next phase of the controversy. As the online debate continued, many viewers expected a clear statement that would either confirm or dismiss the claims circulating about Meghan Markle's reported appearance at the Bet Awards. By this point, the discussion had spread far beyond entertainment blogs, with reaction channels, social media commentators, and mainstream outlets all covering different aspects of the controversy. One of the most notable developments, however, was not what was said, it was what could be verified. Despite widespread online assertions that Meghan had been kicked out, removed, or formally rejected during the event, no credible evidence emerged confirming those specific allegations. There was no verified statement from bet organizers indicating that she had been escorted out of the venue or denied access to the red carpet. Likewise, no official documentation surfaced establishing that such an incident had occurred. That absence of confirmation became an important part of the story itself. Entertainment journalists covering the viral claims generally distinguished between reporting on the existence of the online conversation and validating the allegations behind it. Several outlets noted that the controversy had generated significant engagement across social media, while stopping short of presenting the more dramatic claims as established fact. This reflects a broader challenge in celebrity reporting. When a story gains momentum online, news organizations often find themselves covering the public reaction before all available facts have been established. In those situations, responsible reporting depends on identifying what is confirmed, what remains unverified, and what consists solely of opinion or speculation. Throughout the discussion, many of the strongest conclusions continued to come from commentators rather than primary sources. Some creators argued that the available footage clearly demonstrated public embarrassment. Others maintained that the same videos showed nothing out of the ordinary for a crowded awards show environment. Neither interpretation could conclusively establish events that were not fully captured on camera. The absence of an official response can also be interpreted in different ways, but it should not be treated as evidence supporting any particular claim. Public figures and their representatives do not always respond to every rumor or viral discussion. Similarly, event organizers may choose not to comment on online speculation unless it directly affects the event or requires factual correction. That left audiences in an unusual position. They had access to countless opinions, but comparatively little independently verified information beyond the existence of the videos themselves and the widespread reaction those videos generated. By this stage, the controversy had become an example of how modern entertainment stories evolve. A limited amount of visual material sparked extensive commentary. That commentary generated additional headlines. Those headlines prompted further reaction videos and discussions, which in turn expanded the audience following the story. The cycle continued even though the underlying evidence had changed very little. Media analysts have increasingly pointed to this pattern across celebrity news. Viral narratives often become self-sustaining because audiences are reacting not only to the original event, but also to everyone else's reaction. Over time, discussion of the controversy can eclipse the documented facts that started it. For Meghan, whose public appearances have frequently attracted intense attention, the Bet Awards discussion fit into a larger pattern in which routine moments are examined from multiple, and often conflicting, perspectives. Admirers saw another example of disproportionate scrutiny. Critics believed the online reaction reflected genuine public sentiment. Neutral observers were left sorting through competing narratives that often relied on the same limited source material. In the end, the controversy settled into two distinct versions of the story. One version consisted of verified facts. Viral clips circulated widely, public debate intensified, and the alleged incident became a major topic of online entertainment coverage. The other version consisted of broader claims, including assertions that she had been forcibly removed or officially kicked out, that were widely repeated online but were not independently verified through credible reporting. That distinction is ultimately what defines the lasting significance of the episode. Rather than producing a universally accepted account of what happened, the incident highlighted how quickly modern celebrity narratives can diverge from the available evidence. In an environment driven by instant sharing and constant commentary, the conversation itself sometimes becomes more influential than the event that sparked it. The debate surrounding the Bet Awards may eventually fade, but the questions it raised about viral media, public perception, and the importance of verification remain highly relevant whenever a high-profile story unfolds online. By the end of the controversy, one thing had become clear. The biggest story surrounding Meghan Markle and the 2026 Bet Awards was not necessarily what happened on the red carpet itself, but how rapidly competing narratives developed around a limited amount of footage. The timeline shows a consistent pattern. Before the event, anticipation was already unusually high because of Meghan's status as one of the world's most closely watched public figures. Once short clips began appearing online, viewers immediately started interpreting them through their own perspectives. Within hours, those interpretations had evolved into much broader claims that spread across social media, reaction channels, and entertainment commentary. As we've seen throughout this documentary, there is an important distinction between a claim becoming viral and a claim becoming verified. Some of the strongest allegations, including assertions that Meghan had been kicked out of the Bet Awards red carpet or formally rejected by A-list celebrities, circulated widely online. However, throughout the available reporting, no independently verified evidence emerged confirming those specific claims. Likewise, no official statement from event organizers established that she had been removed from the event or escorted away because of an incident on the carpet. That does not mean every viewer interpreted the available footage the same way. Public reactions remained deeply divided. Some believed the videos reflected an uncomfortable moment that fit broader perceptions of Meghan's public image. Others viewed the controversy as another example of ordinary red carpet activity being transformed into a much larger story through selective editing and dramatic online commentary. Those differing conclusions demonstrate how celebrity coverage has changed in the age of social media. Today, millions of people can watch the same few seconds of video and arrive at entirely different interpretations. Algorithms reward emotionally engaging content, encouraging headlines that emphasize conflict, embarrassment, or controversy. As those posts receive more engagement, they are shown to even larger audiences, often long before additional context becomes available. Traditional entertainment reporting operates differently. While established outlets may report that a controversy exists, they generally seek independent confirmation before presenting allegations as fact. That distinction can become difficult to recognize once reaction videos, reposted clips, opinion pieces, and verified reporting all appear together in a user's social media feed. The Bet Awards discussion became an illustration of that broader media environment. A relatively small amount of visual evidence generated an enormous volume of commentary, analysis, and debate. Over time, the conversation surrounding the footage arguably became more influential than the footage itself. For Meghan Markle, the episode also reflected the extraordinary level of attention surrounding nearly every public appearance. Whether viewed positively or negatively, her appearances continue to generate intense discussion that often extends far beyond the events themselves. That level of scrutiny means even routine moments can quickly become international entertainment stories. At the same time, this controversy serves as a reminder for audiences to evaluate viral claims carefully. Headlines, captions, and edited clips may provide only part of the picture. Looking for verified reporting, official statements, and broader context remains one of the most reliable ways to separate documented events from online speculation. As things currently stand, many aspects of the viral narrative remain matters of interpretation rather than established fact. Public opinion continues to differ, and the online discussion surrounding the alleged incident has become part of the larger conversation about celebrity culture, media framing, and the speed at which information and misinformation can spread. Ultimately, the story of Meghan Markle and the 2026 Bet Awards is not simply about one evening on a red carpet. It is about the modern relationship between public figures, digital platforms, and audiences who are increasingly asked to distinguish between what is documented, what is inferred, and what is merely repeated. That question extends well beyond a single awards show, and it is likely to remain